Hi everyone, welcome to Impact Academy. Let us look at the AP Interim Budget 2024 to 2025 highlights. So, as we already know, the Andhra Pradesh government has released the interim budget. So, interim budget and the vote on account budget, many people have a doubt. So, basically, interim budget is like a complete budget with revenue, expenditure, receipts, everything, but only for the period until which the new government takes over. So it's a in-between budget. That's why it's called an interim budget until the new government takes over. Vote on account, on the other hand, contains only the expenditure. Basically, whatever the government needs to sustain until the new government takes over. So that is the main difference. Anyway, they are mostly used interchangeably, but that is the difference. So let us look at the key highlights. So if you look at the interim budget document of the government, that will be many pages. It has a lot of information. So I've taken only what is very important and put it in just two pages. If you want, you can go. There are so many what is say individual grants to individual departments. Everything they are all important, but my idea is they are important for the mains because there is a economy subject in APPSC Group 2 mains. So from preliminary point of view, it is only for the current affairs. So for current affairs, I don't think it is required to go to that level of depth. So for the time being, and this is an interim budget, so there is going to be another budget after the election. So for the time being, this much of information is more than enough. So no need to stress yourself with all that information. Just this basic information is enough. So let us see. So most important thing you have to remember is 2.86 lakh crore is the budget. Okay, the Andhra Pradesh government's budget for 24-25, the interim budget is 2.86 lakh crore, and primacy was given to welfare with a focus on infrastructure development. So it was 2.79 lakh crore in the last year. Now it is 2.86 lakh crore. Also, 71,000 rupees 71,740 crore has been allocated for welfare of backward classes, and rupees 20,000 crore has been allocated for development of ports in the state because Andhra Pradesh has a long coastline of 974 kilometers, which is the second highest in the whole country. First is Gujarat, second is Andhra Pradesh. So 20,000 crore has been allocated for development of ports. So remember these 2 points very clearly. Try to keep them in mind. Try to by heart literally. So the projected revenue expenditure is 2,30,000 crore, and capital expenditure is 30,530 crore. Okay, and revenue deficit. So if you look at this is the expenditure, so the receipts are lower than the expenditure. So you're going to have a deficit. So all these things which are in bold, try to remember those things. Try to remember the numbers also. They will be asked in the exam. So the revenue deficit and fiscal deficit is 24,758 crore and 55,081 crore. So the fiscal deficit is around 55,000 crore. Remember that revenue deficit around 24,000 crore, and fiscal deficit is always more than the revenue deficit. So in the GSDP, fiscal deficit is 3.51%, while revenue deficit is 1.56%. Obviously, you can see here 55,000 crore, which is 3.51%. Even this is important. 24,758 crore, and that comes to 1.56% of the whole GSDP. So all these figures are important. Try to note them and remember them. So rupees 10,460 crore revenue deficit grant was released by center. Okay, it was supposed to be done 2014-15. It was released by center. Remember that how much revenue deficit grant has been released by center? 10,460 crore. And also obtain the pending installment of backward district grants to the tune of rupees 1,050. So especially Srikakulam, Vijayanagara, etc. backward districts. So around 50 crore per district, around 7 districts, all that we've seen in last budgets, etc. So 1,050 crore was released for the development of the backward districts. So all these figures are important. So As per the revised estimates for the year 23-24, expenditure was okay for 23-24. Remember, not the budget estimate that is for the future, as in 24-25. This is what happened. Okay, in the last year budget, they will have a budget estimate, and this is the revised estimate based on actual figures. So the actual expenditure was 2 lakh 28. Okay, 2 lakh 28,000 crore, and capital expenditure was 27,308 crore. Try to remember all these things. And the revenue deficit for last year was 31,000. Okay, now it is pegged at 55,000, right? Remember, now the revenue deficit is at 24,758 crore. Last year it was, where is it? 31,000 crore. And the fiscal deficit now is 55,000 crore, and last year it was 60,000 crore. So they have reduced it. And this is last year, 2.19% and 4.18. And current estimates are, you can see, fiscal deficit is 3.51 and revenue deficit is 1.56. So remember these things, 3.51 and 1.56. Just if sometimes on the exam, questions are asked based on trends, whether the deficit has increased or decreased. Okay, so for that trends, you have to remember the last year also. So you can see that the revenue deficit was 2.19 and now it is estimated to be 1.56. So it has reduced. Similarly, fiscal deficit has reduced from 4.18 to 3.51. So note them down and remember that. So there is a reduction. And also state government convinced the 15th Finance Commission to award a higher revenue deficit grant of 30,497 crore. And also it made the center to approve the revised project cost for Polavaram project. So these are some of the key points in this particular vote on account. Beyond this, it is not required to go into any depth because this will change by the time we go to the mains exam. But for this immediate group 2 preliminary, this much information should be fine. And briefly look at this. So revenue receipts, okay, 2.05 lakh crore, and you can see the share of central taxes, tax revenue, etc. Grant in aids is around how much is this? 32 lakh, okay, 32 lakh 12,757 lakhs. Capital receipts is 8.10. We have seen all this. And the total budget is 2.86 lakh crore. Okay, this is the heading, right? 2.86 lakh crore. Remember, our Andhra Pradesh budget this time is 2.86 lakh crore. Okay, and other things which we have seen, revenue expenditure is 2.30 lakh crore. Capital expenditure is how much? 30, okay, 30,53018. Okay, capital expenditure. Let us see. We have noted it down, right? See, capital expenditure is 30,530 crores. And so you can also see what all form the capital receipts. Okay, open market loans, loans from the government of India, okay, other loans, deposit transactions, loans and advances. So all these are receipts. And revenue expenditure. So revenue expenditure means payment of salaries, payment of what is the interest, etc. All that is revenue expenditure. So revenue expenditure should be reduced as much as possible. And capital expenditure is when you spend on creating infrastructure, creating new buildings, roads, etc., or giving loans to any what you say any entity for creation of capital infrastructure, etc. So capital infrastructure is a good thing, and revenue expenditure should be reduced. Even if you look at finance commission recommendations, they will say revenue expenditure has to be slowly brought down to zero. I'm sorry, revenue deficit has to be brought down to zero. Okay, so you have to spend only as much as you receive. That is all important. So go through this particular area and see what are capital disbursements. Okay, floating debt, public debt repayment, etc., etc. Again, total expenditure is 2.86. Total receipt is 2.86. Expenditure is also 2.86 lakh crore. And we have seen deficit. Okay, 24,758 crore, and fiscal deficit is 55,816. So this 55, we have seen it has reduced from 60. Remember that. And primary deficit is 27,800 crore. Okay, that is also important. Sometimes primary deficit is also asked. So try to remember these major things. Okay, revenue deficit has fiscal deficit has reduced from 4.18 to 3.51. Okay, and revenue deficit has reduced from 2.19 to 1.56. And also remember all these points. Okay, try to note them down and remember that much is enough for the exam. Thank you.